Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have Aryna Sabalenka versus Jasmine Paolini for the semi-final of the Miami Masters to get into a match preview that I'm very much looking forward to. And before we do get into it, remember that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Also, shout out to our members on YouTube and make sure you click that notification bell so you get alerted to all new uploads, and make sure notifications are enabled, of course, on YouTube. Okay, let's get into this one. So, Jasmine Paolini and Aryna Sabalenka. The head-to-head is 3-2 in favour of Sabalenka, and Sabalenka has won the last two matches they played in 2024 at the WTA Finals and 2023 in Beijing. Both straight set wins. The second sets were tight, 7-5 and 7-6, but Sabalenka won comfortably in the end. The last time that Paolini beat Sabalenka was the match before those two, which was in 2022. So it is 3 years ago now, because that was in Indian Wells. So Sabalenka has become an absolute powerhouse, of course, especially on hard courts, given that she won the Australian Open last year in 2023 and, of course, in 2024. How they look so far in Miami? Well, they've looked pretty good. I mean, for Sabalenka, she hasn't dropped a single set. And she beat Tomova, Roos, Collins, who's the defending champion, or was the defending champion, and Zheng Xinwen. For Paolini, she has also looked good, only dropping the single set versus Osaka. Beat Shamkova. Jabeur was up, but it was a walkover in the end. Osaka and Linette. So both players have come through some decent players. I would say maybe Sabalenka's is slightly tougher, but I think they're pretty similar in all honesty. So how does this one play out? Well, I think the issue for Jasmine Paolini is the conditions, not just the surface. I actually think if this was at Indian Wells, that she'd have a better chance, because Indian Wells is even slower. It's a very slow hard court. The conditions are very heavy. The balls are very conducive. The conditions are very conducive to topspin. And we know how good a clay court Jasmine Paolini is. She plays with a lot of spin, especially on the forehand side. And that's how she's able to dictate points, find angles, and that's really what her game is built upon, is spin, generation, depth, angles, and being able to defend extremely well and have a really high shot tolerance. For Sabalenka, these conditions are great because in Miami, the conditions are quicker, the ball's bouncing a bit lower, and we know Sabalenka likes to hit a flat, penetrating ball. She can hit with higher topspin too, but she's looking to really hit through the court rather than create that really heavy topspin shaped ball that we see from someone like a Paolini or a Swiatek, for example. Sabalenka has been an issue for Paolini in the last two times they've met, because she has quite simply overpowered Jasmine. Sabalenka is so aggressive off the return, especially the second serve return, and Paolini does have an underpowered serve. From the back of the court, as well, as great a defender as she is, against someone like Sabalenka on a fast hard court, it is going to be an uphill battle, especially if Sabalenka is playing near her best, because that's when she limits errors, but she's able to hit with a lot of power into big targets and then eventually take a bit more risk if she has those easier, shorter balls to attack. Her serve has also been interesting from Sabalenka. She's not been hitting a lot of aces, and that's been of interest to me. Against Collins, she hit 7, but against Zheng Xinwen, only the 1. Her +1 play is normally quite big for her game. I think against Paolini, she'll need to be on it when it comes to that aspect of the match, because Paolini is a very good returner, one of the best on tour, and I can imagine she's going to apply some pressure to Sabalenka in those return games, and Sabalenka's going to have to hold tight and be steadfast in her approach and make sure that she's hitting a lot of quality from the back of the court and pushing Paolini back. And then she could potentially utilize the drop shot, which has been a great addition to her game. And it's something that can be utilized even against someone as quick as Paolini if she's pushing Paolini back behind the baseline or considerably out wide. Then she can utilize that dropper, which I think will be really effective. For Paolini, I think she needs to be super solid from the back of the court, try and limit the errors as much as possible, and try and frustrate Sabalenka by taking her into deep waters, making it a more physical match. And Sabalenka is one of the biggest and best ball strikers on tour, but she does get frustrated sometimes when the points get really long and physical, and the player on the other side of the net is defending unreal to then also transition to attack and win the point, which I'm sure would add even more insult to injury for these players. So, yeah, I think, look, Sabalenka is the favourite for me. So in terms of prediction, I'm going to a Sabalenka, but actually in straight sets, I know Paolini's been playing well, but I just feel like the conditions, the head-to-head, I have a feeling, and in terms of the level, both have been playing a good level. So I think Sabalenka edges it. I think we could see a tiebreaker or one of those sets being tight, but other than that, I can't see a Paolini win, as much as I'd like to see that as well. Let me know in the comment section below who's going to win and why. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon.